Right, I've been feeling a bit lost lately, so I'm just going to try and make a video about the chicken and the egg. Which came first, chicken or the egg? It's the first essay on my website, basically, apart from Pro Theory. I've made a video about it before, and it's the one that I get the most comments about, you know. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or I think it was the rooster, or I think it was such and such a portion of DNA, like I've said before, Luca, which is last universal common ancestor, lived in a warm pool somewhere in a jungle or something, okay, tropical jungle. That's, a lot of people take it that way, but it's actually a philosophical paradox. Which came first, the chicken or the egg, okay? The problem with this problem, or paradox, is if you try and say it's the chicken, it's definitely the chicken, and people say, well, in fact the chicken came from the egg, so how can you possibly say that the chicken came before the egg, or and vice versa, basically. If you say the egg came before the chicken, you say, well, you know, the chicken begets the egg begets the chicken. Which one can we prove, really? It's used in a lot of philosophy courses, apparently, so I've heard, on the grapevine, if you like. And it's really, really interesting, isn't it? Which came first, chicken and egg? It's one of the most famous unsolved problems ever, isn't it? I mean, where I live, it's the most famous and well-known paradox. My answers to this question are that you can't prove one or the other, necessarily. As in, you can't plus neutral. I know it sounds annoying, as I've said every time, but so what? That's just how it goes, you know? So, if you try and say the chicken, someone else can say it's the egg. If you say it's the egg, someone else can say it's the chicken. And it's only when you say it's the chicken and the egg plus neutral simultaneously that there's no room for argument, you see. There's no room for a singularity, for a single proof then, because you're providing the three answers at all times, you see then. And that's the only way to answer this question, really, is the chicken came first, egg came first, plus neutral simultaneously. That's the most accurate, literal, accurate way to answer this. And that's the nature of this paradox, really. There's a lot of paradoxes when you start looking into them. There's a lot of different ones on the same sort of vein, really. The next one I'm going to make a video about is this a question? It's just written down on a piece of paper, is this a question? There's also Russell's paradox, which is Bertrand Russell, famous philosopher, thinker, which is really interesting as well. It's quite fundamental, Russell's paradox as well. This is quite a sort of an academic, I think it's the academic version of the chicken and the egg, really, in a sense. And that's going to be one of the next ones. These are all written about on protheory.com and explained fully in text on there as well. This is just a video version of the chicken and the egg, you see. I find it fascinating, you know, just these little things that you can't quite answer one way or the other, you know. And it just sort of proves my idea, really, in a way, that the most accurate way is to provide three simultaneous answers. And when three simultaneous answers are provided, there's a loop, if you like. So there's no room for someone to say, oh, what about the opposite, because I've already provided the opposite. Or what about the singularity, which I've already provided as well. I've also provided neutrality in this argument as well. If I'm saying the chicken and the egg and neutral simultaneously came first, or whatever you might like to, whichever way you might like to word it, that's the only way to leave no argument. There's no way in there, if you like. You jump in, it's just a loop. You've got the chicken and the egg, and you've got neutrality. If they're all simultaneously present, three of them, so there's here and here and here as well in the middle, then that's your answers to the chicken and the egg. Like I say, if you try and prove me wrong, if you know, I'll just say the opposite plus neutral to whatever you say. I can agree with, oppose or neutralise any criticism, or all criticism. And it's really simple to solve that one. I say solve, which implies singularity, but do you see what I mean? This is exploring the nature of the universe, three simultaneous potentials, and this is what happens when you apply three simultaneous potentials to the question of which came first, the chicken or the egg. Okay?